Careful, center target. Hit, top right corner.
Hit, middle center plate.
Oh, awesome. There we go. Hit, center hit. Got him. Hit it. Beautiful. Nearly dead center.
Yeah.
Got it.
Start.
Okay. Level with right edge of plate, 1.5 targets low. Left. Quarter of a target low, quarter of a target left.
Okay.
Hit! Target down! Got him!
Oh.
Target down.
What was the where did it hit? Did you get to see?
Yeah, right. 4 o'clock, about 4 inches to the right edge of plate.
Okay. Well, that was really good. We expected to see 107.6 minutes of elevation and 9.75 minutes of left wind. With what we had, we ended up with 108.5 minutes of elevation and 10 minutes of left wind. So that dart is working really well. Okay. Well, today we're out. We actually wanted to test a couple of things. We were out last week. We had our 300 Rem Mag out here and we had a chance to shoot. It rained during the week, but it dried off enough for us to have another shot at it. And I wanted to test a couple of things. One of them is we've planned some long shots for next season. And one of the extremely long shots, or one of the problems we had with our 4K shot was to be able to see the misses, we set it up where we're shooting into the sun, so we're actually could see the dust spikes and get ourselves on target. So as long as you're missing, we could see very easily. Once we hit the target, and when we did hit the target, it was one of the shots that we see that was I could not see, didn't see anything. We had the normal hanging target that we run, but because of that, and being such extreme long range, and the shadow was on there, we didn't get to see the hit. Now it was a fresh target, it didn't knock off as much paint, but the truth of it is at 4,000 meters, it's extremely hard to see at that sort of level. You've got to look through the air over 4,000 meters of air. Now we're going to go further than that. As for exactly how far, we've got a few spots set out and we'll really see, but it's talking in the 5,000 yards at least. And for that I'm setting up some bits and pieces. One of them is to put in a knockdown target. What we had here today, which we'll show you out at the target, is our same 24-inch target, but I've set up a simple knockdown target frame. Now that may cause an issue in the way of if it's a ricochet and it gets hit, it's going to fall down, so it's going to be a false call. It's still going to be a target down. But what it does give us is then we'll be able to see all the misses, and if we hit the target, target goes down, we know we've hit the target in some form or other. So that's one thing we're testing. Another thing we're testing today was, last week I noticed that I was getting a tiny bit of muzzle rise out of a rifle that normally didn't have any muzzle rise. Now the reason for that, when I sat and looked at it and figured it out, was essentially because we're shooting in a fair bit of a down angle and then shooting out long range with the rifles back up again, is that everything was lower to the ground than is comfortable. Back spent more, lifting itself up, the actual, to try and get the rifle in the right position, was really struggling to get enough height out of it. So what I've done, something I've thought about, and a couple of things I put in place was build this little unit up the front here. Now it's just cheaply built, it's just a couple of pieces of ply screwed together with a plate on top which gives a bar for the legs to push against. And it's designed to be able to essentially this has got spikes underneath it. I'll show you that in a second, but it's designed to be able to give basically some more elevation. I didn't need as much with this whole setup. I wasn't running it. I still decided to test it. I wanted to go through and test things, but it's designed to give a bit more acceleration, a bit more elevation from the front of the rifle, while also giving a good solid support, grounded support from the actual rifle. Now I'll have to look and see how the rifle cycled. It felt very good. It did all the right things as far as I can see. But one of the negatives of running this sort of system is a board like this pushing on the bipod legs, not necessarily going to get even load. So the way I've designed this is, in actual fact, that is actually pivoting. That's actually set up. There's a little bit of a wax slide underneath here. It's all clamped down tight, but you cannot unevenly load the bipod. If you try to get uneven load, it's going to center. So it's actually making the bipod a little bit even more consistent, because you're still able to preload, it's still able to cycle, it's still able to do those bits and pieces, but if you load unevenly, it's going to let it center to exactly even for the bipod. So we'll see. As I said, I'll show you underneath. We'll move that back. I've simply made it with some spikes. So there's some bolt-in spikes. You'd actually also be able to use this with rubber pads or things and use it on bench shooting if you wanted to. I've designed it for this reason, which is essentially trying to get some more elevation, or in the case where I'm running, you got bad sand or that sort of stuff you're trying to shoot in, the bipod legs aren't getting good grip, you really can bog this down, stomp on it, get it into the ground, and then lower your bipod to suit. Plus it gives you some extra height for your bipod, so you can actually run the thing higher or lower, whatever it is you're actually chasing for the shot you're doing. As I still would prefer to run in the ground, get those legs to bog in the ground, and get proper traction as you can do in the ideal spot, but we're trying to set up to where we're able to shoot in any condition, and this is just an idea. At this moment I'd say it worked, but it's really just another one of the things that I'm playing with as something to test. See, I built it actually with a little handle so it's easy to carry. It's not going to be in your road or anything like that, but for the ELR shaft and shooting in all sorts of different conditions, it may be something that starts to go on the kit. Just testing at the moment. Anyway, we'll go up to the target, and we'll show you up there what we've done with the knockdown system, show you hit on target. We did only get one hit on target. It was actually very similar shooting conditions to last week, not quite as heavy a wind, and I actually have just I have been shooting the 195 grain burgers. I just did that. That was half a box of ammo of the 180 grain burgers, and I thought, listen, for this shot here, it's not stretching the distance too far, we'll just do that. They went really well, and I've got a fair bit of data to go with them from the shooting I've done with it. Anyway, we'll see you up at target and we'll show that, or I should say, just before we do that, I'll just double verify that range. This is the distance I had here.
2309 yards, and that's with the measuring tape app for iPhone.
And I'll just reset it, so we'll do it backwards as well. So there we go, and we'll just verify that at target from that. Okay, well there we are at target. We'll see you down there. That's a direct hit, not quite centered, but we only get one chance with this way of doing it with a drop down target. I'll go through and explain that properly in a minute. I'll just, while we're here, I said I was going to reverse verify this target. We'll go into the measuring tape app. There it is.
2311 yards.
So just 2312, pretty close to exactly the same distance as last week, actually, which is fairly amazing. I put it roughly where I thought we had it, but it's rained in between, the ground's quite a bit wetter, and so it was a bit of a guess, but it was trying to do the same thing. We're using our 7mm, and I was shooting the 180 grain bullets. The 195s are a little bit more efficient out here, but still we were just doing a test on this target system. And I should go through that basically with our extreme long range, we can have trouble seeing we can have where it's hard to see the actual hits on target. Now, it could do things with cameras and that sort of stuff. There is different 3G cameras you can get nowadays to set up to be able to do it with the iPhone or with an iPad or that sort of stuff. But really, we're trying to do all our long range shooting. We have cameras here for recording the video, but we try and do it all as shooter and spotter, and we're not using other equipment. So with that side of things, a way that I've thought of doing that is a knockdown target. So this target, if you have a look on the back here, it's a very simple design. Essentially, I have a T-frame. It's got spikes on it, so that just bolts essentially going down the ground. This is actually a bit of weight to make sure it doesn't fall over. And what I've done, I've just built a little swivel point at the front in this piece of stainless steel rod. The target bolts to it. It's just one of our normal 24-inch targets. It's upside down, so it's got the hanging points and our bolt points at the lower. And then I've put in this piece of pipe just a little dent. This is just a piece of 1/4-inch rod with a bit of a rounded off end on it that'll actually sit in there. So basically it can deal with a reasonable amount in the way of conditions in wind and that sort of stuff, but the moment it actually gets a barrel, it's going to do that. So that means that essentially we're only going to get one hit, which is, it's not good for target practice so much. It's more about a hit and target down. And obviously at the extreme long range, coming into the 5,000 yards, meters, 3 miles, whatever it is we actually end up talking about and doing for our next attempt at the end of this year, we want, essentially we can set it up where we can see good dust spikes by shooting into the sun, so we can make sure we can see our misses. But our failure last time was to actually see. We didn't get enough paint pop off the target, but when you're starting to look over 4 kilometers and actually try and see things in the shadow, very hard, but with a target dropping, it's going to be very easy. So that's our plan. That test worked brilliantly, the other bit worked brilliantly, and it's another day just there's a bit of rain during the week, but we've got another chance, and so any chance to get out and do a bit of trigger time, we certainly relish the choice. And glad that you guys could check us out. We could do a video for you. So anyway, we'll catch you next time, guys.